Okay, why are governments so inefficient? Let me know what you think. But governments take in money from everyone on basically every transaction, right? You think about like vehicles, homes, sales tax, everything you do basically involves, if you're trading stocks, any transaction that you're doing is basically going to involve the government taking their piece of the pie on it. The reason why it's so inefficient is that no one's actually accountable. No one person or no one entity is responsible for making sure that those resources are used efficiently, or that they're effectively applied to certain programs or certain things. Now, there are some good programs out there. There are people that deserve to have benefits and programs out there. I'm not saying that there isn't, but I guarantee you there's a ton of waste within these government programs. And because they're not held to any actual standard, they are allowed to just misuse and completely mismanage all of these resources uh, that are resources of the general public, right? Take me for example. If I have $1 million to my name, if I go out and just blow all my money and just go on first class flights and rent a private jet and stay in 5-star hotels and rent Lamborghinis and buy fancy dinners and just show everyone a good time, I might be able to do that for a few months. But once my money runs out, I'm done. They say, "I'm sorry, sir, you don't have any more money. Your checking balance says you have $37 in it. You can't do anything." And let's say I have 6 or 7 or 10 credit cards. After I max out my credit cards and I don't make payments or whatever, I'm going to be seen as a credit risk. The companies are going to shut me off. They're going to say, "Sorry, sir, you're done. We can no longer extend any more credit to you. And because you haven't paid your credit cards, it's going to go to the collections agency and they're going to try to negotiate with you." So, as a private person, we are forced to be very selective about how we spend or utilize our resources, right? You cannot, you don't have an endless supply of money. You have to be selective about how you spend your money. Do you want to buy a new car? Do you want to buy a car? Do you want to buy a new bed that you need? Do you want to buy new clothes? Do you want to go on vacation? Do you want to buy, your wife a jewelry or some sort of ring? Whatever you want to do, you have to make an economic decision based on it, because you don't have a limitless supply of money. Now, if you knew that you were going to be getting $100,000 a week or a month for the rest of your life, and that was 100% guaranteed, sure, you might go spend a lot more money because you had a lot of resources. And some people are really rich and it doesn't matter, right? But for most people, they have to be very sensitive to and sensible about how they're spending their money. There's not just an endless supply of money that they can rely on. The government is the complete opposite. They have an endless supply of money that's coming in from taxes. If there's any shortfall, they can just print more money, right? And so, with all that money, there is so much waste because the program doesn't even have to be a good program. It doesn't have to have an economic benefit. It can be a bad program and they'll still throw millions of dollars or billions of dollars at it because there's not an overseer. No one is actually accountable to report that the program's working or that it's not working. And they'll just continuously throw more money at it, even if it's not working, right? Again, I'll use myself as an example. Let's say that I'm a business owner. Let's say that I want to open a business as a private individual. I'm going to have to maybe get a commercial office space or a business location. I'm going to have to hire employees. I'm going to have to get insurance, business insurance, employee insurance, all that stuff. I'm going to have to pay my employees a wage. I'm going to have to buy whatever my raw materials are. I'm going to have to, have all the office equipment and all the office programs that come with running a company. And all that's going to be on me, right? So if my revenue from my business is lower than my cost, after a while, I'm going to not have enough money to pay all my expenses, right? I can't pay my employees. I can't pay my commercial loan. I can't pay the subscription cost to have, Salesforce and all these programs, Microsoft Excel and all these programs on my computer, and I'm going to go out of business, right? I cannot just perpetually run a business where I don't make money. The government can, right? So that's kind of the joke here is if you're just a person, you have to be successful. You're not allowed to just continue being being a failure, right? If you're a failure, you go out of business and you're going to have to do something else. The government doesn't have that problem. They can just, like I said, continuously burn money and waste resources because no one is accountable for it, right? When you're doing your accounting on your money, you have to know where everything's going because you don't you as a citizen, I mean, yes, you could go work more hours and you could get a new job and you can maybe earn more money, but you don't have a printing press in your bathroom or in your bedroom. You can't just go in there and turn it on and say, I'd like to print $10,000 right now. And yeah, why don't you give me 2020s and another 5050s? You can't do that, right? So you have to be very thoughtful about how you're spending your money. And again, the real, like I said, just look at the scoreboard. Everything that the U.S. has been doing has resulted in $35 trillion in debt. So is it working? I mean, you guys let me know. Is it working? I'd say no. It's not working. Okay. And their only real solution that they're going to come to is just continued inflation, right? Where they're going to try to pay back all their debt by inflating the currency, which essentially reduces the debt burden because they're paying back the debt in a dollar that is devalued. So that's what they're going to do. It's going to hurt the normal person because your gas price, your home price, the cost of food is only going to continue to go up. The cost of vehicles, everything is going to continuously rise. And so what do we really need here? You need to have someone or some party or some group of people that is responsible for evaluating the effectiveness of government programs. If it's not an effective program, if there's not a long-term economic benefit that is going to be realized at some point out of these programs, you have to reduce them or you have to eliminate them altogether. Otherwise, there's going to be no way out of this, right? You can't just throw money at stuff continuously without a huge negative consequence, right? If the programs are not working. And right now, I think government programs don't really talk to each other. There's not like a CEO that has to be held accountable. There's not shares really of government programs, right? So, they can just continuously run the Ponzi scheme because they always have tax revenue coming in. And like I said, if there's any shortfall, they just print more money. But as a private person, like I said with my example of just traveling and having a good time, once I run out of money, I get shut off, right? My credit card company shuts me off. If I run a business and I'm not making money, my employees are going to stop showing up because I'm not paying them, right? There's going to be a problem. I don't have the government tap to just create money out of thin air, right? But when they have that power, they abuse it. And there's no checks and balances really, like I said, of people evaluating the effectiveness of government programs. And if, in my opinion, I would say it might not be the majority, but there is probably a very high percentage of government programs that are mismanaged greatly. I'm not saying that they shouldn't exist maybe for a lot of them, but are they being mismanaged and are we wasting money on them because we're not really getting a benefit out of it? Yes, right? But you can't call anyone and you can't hold any one person accountable, right? Because it's no one's job to be accountable for it. And that's where the issue lays. Someone or some party or some group of people is going to have to be responsible for making the decision to cut programs or to reallocate resources so that they're used in an appropriate way. Otherwise, the debt's just going to keep going up and the situation is just going to get worse. So let me know what you think. Subscribe for more if you want. See you in the next one.